Not the sit.
Okay, welcome back, everyone. Happy Thursday. Here we are, another week with no trailer, even though we were so hyped for it last week.
No.
Like nothing, absolutely nothing.
Where did this rumor come from again? That we were getting the trailer this week or last week?
No, I know. I was thinking that today. I was like, who started this? I just want to talk. Like,
there's a source that's like really like,
Yeah, there was
he's
some
like,
people on Twitter.
yeah,
Who do
he's very,
Where
like,
need to
his
pitch for?
reputation is good. Like, he's gotten a lot of stuff right, but like, apparently not this one.
I mean, I
Not
think
when it
maybe potentially like they were right, but maybe they got cold feet because like
Honestly, this would have made the most sense though, because all the movies just came off of Netflix. The poster just came out.
yeah, it makes way. It
Like
does make
Zed.
the most sense.
Yeah.
But
Maybe Lionsgate heard and they were like, psych.
y'all think they would change it just because we were like ready for it? They're like, no, when we
they're
announce
mean.
it.
They did a D&D, the writers of Game of Thrones who were like, what do the fans want? Got it. Let me do the exact opposite of that.
Yeah. Literally. I mean, it's frustrating, but I mean, I don't know how many weeks I can keep saying this anymore at this point, but like next week, potentially.
I mean, it's coming at some point.
Yeah.
Point soon. And we know soon. Because Nina said it was coming soon.
Yeah. She said they'll announce it soon.
But that's so vague. Like because there's like a couple of events happening in like the next, like later this month and like in May that like I could see it dropping with, but that's like so far away. I just hope that they like announced it and they're like, and tomorrow it's coming out. I hope it's something like that because I can't do this anymore. It's such a long wait.
I mean, I'm sure they'll tell us ahead of time.
Yeah, they will. Especially
will.
that Nina phrased it. It made me think that it's going to be announced.
Same.
And also, like, you have to remember that Easter is this Sunday.
Oh, true.
So it won't be this weekend. And then I don't think it would be, I feel like Tuesday would be a really decent day.
Yeah. I agree. Because a lot of people are so off, like when I mean, I don't know how it is everywhere else, but like in New York, at least, people usually take like the day after a like major holiday off and like don't go to office. And usually they go back to office on like Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah. I can see Tuesday or Wednesday because if it's playing before a movie, then it makes sense.
What comes out next week?
I'm pretty sure.
Oh no,
there's nothing.
For this whole month, basically.
Yeah, actually you're right.
Ugh.
We got Peter Pan and Wendy. When is that coming out?
It's on Disney Plus.
Oh, rip.
I was like, what is that?
Honestly, I recommend watching the trailer. It's very cute. It's like it's the live action Peter Pan movie. But
yeah,
okay.
The same people that made the Ballad poster made the poster for that movie as well as the Barbie posters.
Oh my god, iconic!
I know,
Iconic. Oh, those posters. I hope that the marketing for Ballad is, I mean, tonally they're very different, but like the Barbie people know what's up. They know what kind
I
of
loved
movie
that
this
we could
is.
make our own little image. That was so fun. I would love something like that for Ballad where it's like interactive in some way.
They did one for when like they had the part, I think it was Mockingjay part 1 or 2. I think it was part 1 when they had the partnership with Samsung and they had like that app. Yeah. They had that like with the face paint.
Oh no.
Okay, yeah, there's no movies coming out in theaters for basically the rest of the month.
Amazing. God.
Ronnie.
Yeah.
I'm so bitter. I'm so bad about this whole situation. It's fine. We will survive, I guess. But
we'll get there.
The Little Mermaid comes out in May and Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
I refuse to believe that May. I don't even want to think. I can't afford to think like that.
And for some reason,
April. It has to be April. I mean, I'm sorry. Even if it's not playing for a movie, just like release it online. I'm sure it'll do fine. Like,
And to be fair, I posted about this not too long ago, but I believe the first teaser for part 1 didn't come out till June of that year, which is really crazy.
That was
Yeah.
awful though.
That was
Let's
awful.
not
I mean,
have a repeat of that.
that was a very long wait.
It was
I
really-
remember when the teaser came out for part 1, I remember it got leaked online, like the audio of it, but in Ukrainian.
Oh gosh.
And one of my friends that I went to school with at the time, at freaking community college, she was Ukrainian and she like translated it for me, and I like
Oh,
put it into
stop.
I put it into Jabberjays, like I like put it on the website, like the transcript from like the best of like what she could translate. But that was super hype. I would even take an audio, like honestly, of this in Ukrainian. I want something, just anything.
And my ex is Ukrainian. I'll ask him. It's like, hey,
It's
Or just some character posters or
it's
something.
something.
I can't wait for that. I
Something
just want to see
besides
what they
that
look like, the
terrible-
cast.
I need something better than the Eminem.
So bad.
Give him a little-
We need another image
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah,
We're
Something
we
reading
need
the
else.
book at work, and I'm trying to get people on my team to be okay with reading the book, because some of them are like, I don't want to read a prequel, blah blah blah, whatever. So my friend yesterday was like, oh, the book's getting really good, but it's hard to imagine who the people are. And I said, girl, they're already done filming the movie. Like, you can look up the cast. She looks up the cast. She's like, oh my gosh. And I show her the only image that we have. And she was like, what is this?
It's so bad.
Yeah, I was
It's
like, please
so.
don't take this into consideration.
I mean, it's not going to be anything like how the actual movie looks, I'm sure. I mean, those sort of set photos always look very different than like how it is in the movie, because
Mhm.
it doesn't have like a filter or anything on it. But just like it's weird that they released that and like literally nothing else for months, and then they released the teaser poster like last week, and then still nothing. Like, I mean, it's what are they doing here? Like,
give me Peter or give me death. Okay, where
yeah,
is it?
honestly.
I need to see Peter. Yeah.
Like, why hasn't that been talked about at all? Because like, people talk about Viola Davis, of course, as they should.
Mhm.
She's probably the most famous person on the cast. But damn it, give me Peter. Where is he? Why are we
But
not
they-
talking about him? A little
they-
commotion, Peter, please.
They did. He was in that behind the scenes TikTok,
Yeah, that
though, like
TikTok.
in
For a
costume and
second.
everything. But like,
That's true. But I
you
need
get a
more.
better idea. I mean, I'm excited to see his performance too. He like little quick side story. He used to be a regular at the Starbucks that I used to work at in downtown
What?
Brooklyn, and he would walk. He has a huge dog. The dog is like the biggest dog I've ever seen, and like he walks it every single morning, and it's the
Aw.
funniest looking thing. He's so sweet too. He's such a nice guy. But I don't know. I think I'm more excited about Viola Davis because like we still have not really seen anything other than that like blurry in the back,
just the
like
look,
whatever
I
she's
guess.
wearing. Yeah. And like it's not even like the full look. Like we don't, it's still hard to tell what she looks like.
Yeah,
But
so
it's
far
definitely
away.
an insane,
Do
it's
you
an
even know
insane
for sure
costume.
that that's her?
Yeah,
We,
I
like,
mean,
zoomed
we
in.
don't. We don't, but I do feel like it is. I mean, I think the outfit is so insane.
It has to be.
It has to be. It stands out more than any other outfit.
I mean,
so I
it's
feel
so
like
blurry. Maybe that could have been her stand-in or something. I don't
I don't
know.
know. But at the end of the day, that's what she's going to look like. So, I mean, maybe potentially if it is her, which I think it is.
Watch it just not be her, and it's like just random Avox or some like random character. And
I wouldn't be. I was just about to say, what if it's an Avox? Like that would be so upset. I mean, it'd be
I feel
cool.
like the clothes were kind of shiny. I don't know.
yeah, but this is old Pen M.
All right, maybe. Anything's
I don't know.
possible.
Emily, you know
Do-
me. I will justify anything. Like I will find the reachiest reach, the furthest reach.
and I love that about you, AJ, because I need
Thank
that in my life.
So-
I got you.
Do we have any? I mean, since the teaser seems to be kind of like coming soon, hopefully in the next few weeks, do we have any like predictions? Like, how do we think it's going to look? Like, is it going to be
Singing.
like I mean, do we want to talk about the quote unquote press screener leaks?
Yeah, that
which
was
we do not
I
know.
don't
don't-
think we do. I don't think
That was
I don't think they're real. So
I don't
Yeah.
either. We flip-flopped on it so much though.
I
Like,
know.
because like it was when Rachel started announcing them,
she
I was
kinda
just like,
dropped
I
the
mean, of
ball.
course, like it made sense for her to denounce it for me, like even if it were true. But then I don't know how I feel about it.
I mean, we could
It's-
talk about the idea of Donald
Mhm.
making a cameo.
yeah,
trailer,
listen,
though.
I know
yeah.
Gabby would be down for that. Talking about, no, it'd be is it Tina? Tina's the one that's obsessed
Tina.
with. Yes, it's Tina, not Gabby. Oh my god.
Yeah, I was like,
Gabby,
Girl, it is definitely Tina.
yeah, it's Tina.
But we all want that, right? Like we
Yeah.
would all love
I mean, yeah.
for
He's
him to
such
make
a
a
huge
cameo.
fan of his own
Mhm.
character and of the series in general. Like when I went to the New York premiere, he, out of all the actors,
Yes,
just
he
was
sat
sitting
there.
Yeah, the whole, like most of the time, like the first half of the entire premiere, like he was so about the fans, he's so about his character, he's so about this series, and I think that it would be a missed opportunity for him to not be involved in the movie at any capacity. But I don't know, it kind of makes sense for him to be at the last frame of the movie,
Mhm.
but I don't know. I don't want to get my hopes up, and I can't believe I never thought about that before this Twitter stuff happened.
See,
were, like-
for me, it was like when I was reading Ballad for the first time back in 2020, I just, after finishing it immediately, I talked about this last week actually, I think, but I always just flash to the last shot of the first movie where he's like clearly plotting out his next move, and there's the Abraham's daughter that's timed with him
yeah.
removing his hand from his mouth, and that visual is so like burned into my brain, and I was like, man, I really want like a post-credit scene or something like that, or maybe just the actual end of the movie, like the last shot of it being, it flashes forward to him watching Katniss's reaping,
Oh, that would be so good.
and just sort of like the look of dread or something on his face,
Yeah.
and then
Another
that's it,
thing-
cut to credits, like that would be so sick. But yeah, I don't want to get my hopes up for it either, because I love that idea so much that I feel like if it doesn't happen and I felt like it was promised, I'll be really let down. But
Yeah.
conceptually, I think it would be really great.
Something that I think would be worth them putting in at least one trailer, maybe not the teaser. Actually,
Yeah.
I don't know. But Rachel singing would be maybe like that would be the entire trailer, is like her singing in the background of the clips. And that way people are like, oh my gosh, because everyone loves the fact that she can sing, and that's kind of like her thing. And since she sings so much in the movie, I feel like it would only make sense for it to be in at least one of the trailers. It would definitely be something
Oh,
that
100%.
in a TV spot, but like we talked about, that's not really a thing anymore.
Yeah, the hanging tree, possibly, just to get like something familiar for the audience.
Oh yeah, if they're gonna do
it absolutely
anything,
needs to be, because I think we were talking about this, I don't know, in our chat or maybe a little bit last week, that it seems like people who aren't as familiar with the book and what happens were kind of taken aback by the fact that there might be musical numbers
Yeah, I got so many
in the movie.
Yeah.
So I think audiences need to be prepared for
Oh, yeah.
that fact.
Not like there's ballad in the name of it.
I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, like what can they do at this point? Just call it Hunger Games a musical. I mean, it's which is kind of, I mean, it's gonna be a musical, which I'm totally here for, because like I love musicals. So like I wouldn't mind if it was a lot of singing.
Hunger
me
Games, the
too.
prequel, the musical prequel.
The people, yeah.
I mean, the hanging tree.
It
because
sounds so
everyone knows
funny,
that.
like with no context.
That just sounds like one of those off-Broadway parodies.
I was just about to
Right.
say that. Yes, I agree. I wouldn't be surprised if this could. I mean, imagine a Broadway transfer of this. Like
Oh no.
they did a
A
Broadway
very-
production.
A very Mockingjay musical, like a very Potter
Yes.
musical.
Oh no.
I mean, listen, they're doing a Stranger Things play in
I know, I want-
London, so
Well,
like,
Ronnie,
why
let's go.
not? I would love to, honestly. So like, why not Hunger Games? They were gonna do that stage show in London oh goodness, I don't know if y'all remember about this at all. They were gonna build like a whole theater
Oh my
and
God.
everything for it, and it just like never happened, which I'm so mad about because I think it would have been so interesting.
Hmm.
It would have been a choice. Like I think it would have been interesting to
I
see,
think
but
you would have liked it, and that's about it.
yeah, honestly,
Yep.
yeah, I agree. But I do think that the musical numbers are going to kind of throw people off
Mhm.
about it. But I mean, inherently, the Hunger Games series is I mean, it was more musical, I think, in the books, but
Mhm.
in the movies, they still kept that aspect a little
Yeah,
bit.
they're still deep in the meadow. The first
Yeah,
film,
and
they're
Hanging
still
Tree.
hanging tree.
Yeah, I think if anything, she's gonna sing in a trailer, it'd be the Hanging Tree, and everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, this
Yeah,
is
I
Yeah.
think that would be a really good choice.
I think
Dude,
it's the
all the
only
Twitter
choice that they
fans-
have.
No, all the fake Twitter fans are gonna be like, "Oh my gosh, this is so crazy."
Yeah.
Well,
Here we are.
Alex?
Yeah.
Like it's not been like a crazy week, but it's also been a crazy week. Like we had these rumors that were very exciting. We may not have gotten our trailer, but
Was
we had
very
something we had something to talk about
Yeah.
at the very least.
At least it created hype around
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
entire thing.
so still successful.
We didn't even mention that Tiffany is on tonight.
Yeah,
First time. The Hunger Games prequel on Instagram.
formerly
Mhm.
Catching Mockingjay.
Rip.
RP.
R.I.P.
May she be rest in peace. I don't know.
I mean, we haven't really talked to you very much. Like, do you want to talk a little bit about like how you became a fan and kind of
course.
your journey?
Yeah. So I've been a fan since 2011. My mom was reading the first book for her book club with all her girlies, and I'd always been a reader, so she said I would really like it. And I read it for the first time. And keep in mind, I was 11. So at that point, I wasn't really reading anything as mature as The Hunger Games was at that point. So when I first read it, I hated it because I remember reading the first page and thinking, I don't even know what this girl's name is. Like, this is dumb. I don't get it. So I kind of stopped reading it after that. But then my first day of sixth grade, my teacher said, oh my gosh, like this is my favorite book right now. There's going to be a movie. You guys need to read this, blah, blah, blah. So I read it again and I gave it more of a chance and I loved it. So that's how I kind of first got into it. But one thing about me is when I love something, I love something. So I
Same.
I immediately started diving into like the press for the movie, and I looked at all the behind the scenes pictures and everything that was out at that point. And this was summer 2011, August 2011, around that time. So there was a trailer, I believe, at that point, but nothing more than that. But I've always been somebody that's loved things like photo editing. I used to play on iMovie on my family computer, Photoshop, all that stuff. And so I started making edits of like Josh Hutcherson and Jennifer Lawrence and all this stuff. And I would post them on my Facebook because my parents let me have a Facebook when I was 9, which was a bad idea at the time, but now I work in social media, so it kind of paid off. But so I was posting them on Facebook. And since I was 11 with the Facebook, there was only a couple of other kids that I knew my age that also had one. And there was this guy named Kevin that lived in my neighborhood. And Kevin was a year younger than me. And he would comment on all the photos I posted on Facebook of the Hunger Games and be like, Peter is stupid and Katniss is lame and all this stuff. And I was like, wow, I need to stop posting about the Hunger Games because obviously I'm going to be bullied by Kevin if I keep posting about it. So Instagram was becoming a bigger thing. That was when Facebook had first bought Instagram back in 2012. This is kind of like a flash forward. I saw the movie, everything, was really into it. I decided to create an Instagram account so I could post my edits that I made. And it kind of became this thing where my theory to get followers was posting 3 times an hour for 12 hours a day.
Oh my
So,
god.
Oh
yeah.
my god. That's incredible.
That's
Yeah,
wild.
if somebody posted that much now, I would block them. Not even
That's
um I
2010 social media, like 2010s
Yeah.
era social media.
I don't know if you guys remember this app, but if you searched Hunger Games on the App Store, there was an app where you could download wallpapers of the Hunger Games.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, yes, yes.
And I would go on that
Of
app every
course.
day. And there came a point where they stopped posting new things, but I would post everything from that app on Catchy Mockingjay. And it would be fan art, posters, whatever. And because I was posting so much, I was getting followers really quickly. And within the first day of creating my account, I had 100 followers, which was kind of crazy back then. So that was pretty cool. But I kept up with it. I made some friends and I met Jerry. Jerry, when did we meet? Like 2013?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. We met in like 2013. So I created
Oh,
Catchy
wow.
Mockingjay in August 2012. I had like friendships and group chats and all that stuff. I'm still friends with almost every person I was super close with from back then to this day, which is really great. But when I was 15 in May of 2015, I came home from school. I was home alone. I was eating chicken nuggets and watching Ned's Declassified, which is what I did every day after high school. And
Yes.
I
Iconic.
I get an Instagram DM from the Hunger Games, and they were like, "Hey, we love what you're doing. Do you want to do marketing for Mockingjay Part 2?" And I had a full-on panic, freak out, just oh my gosh. And I was home alone, which made it a lot more annoying because I couldn't tell anybody. But yeah, I remember sending it to some of my internet friends and some other people had received it too. So we were like, holy crap, like this is everything. And I was like, yes, this is my email, please. I love you. Thank you, whatever. And I don't know if you guys were like super into the Instagram fandom at that time, but people were so mad. They were like, you guys don't deserve it. All
Oh my
this
God.
stuff.
Yeah.
Jeez.
It was crazy. But I made this whole post and I was like, guys, there's only one goal here. Like, we're all one family, blah, 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 whatever.
Remember who the real
Yeah. I was like, guys, please stop sending death threats to other people about this. It's nobody's fault. That was crazy. But yeah, so I got invited to the exhibition press day, which was the day before, opened in New York in July of 2015. So that was the exhibition opened on July 1st. So June 30th was the press day. And I couldn't go to that day because we were flying in, but I went July 1st and I met some of my internet friends for the first time. So that was a really awesome day. I had people come up to me and they were like, "Are you Catchy Mockingjay?" I said, "Yes, ma'am." They said, "Can we take a picture?" I said, "Of course." And it was just crazy. I was literally wearing a Hollister shirt with some pants from JCPenney.
Yes.
Some knockoff Jack Rogers from Rack Room Shoes. So I was really serving. I also wasn't wearing a bra. That's very important to the story for anyone who's because in all the pictures you can just tell that I'm not wearing a bra. I was 15. I don't think I wore bras at that point. This is not relevant, but just thought I would mention that. Yeah. And then I got invited to the LA premiere and I didn't go because my parents were like, "We're not flying across the country for you to go to a movie premiere." And I was like, "All right, cool. You guys hate me, I guess." But they did let me go to the New York City premiere. So that was really awesome. Again, back to the outfits I wore. I wore a Forever 21 two-piece dress with a Justice camisole underneath that you can see in the photos, and Vans.
I
So,
remember that outfit very well.
yeah, I was just, who allowed that? That was just so tragic. I also had acne and braces. So I can't wait to redo that. in the future, if we go to the ballot. But yeah, no, that was really awesome. That was honestly the greatest day of my life. I kept up with the Hunger Games and everything into college, but then the demise of Catching Mockingjay came summer of 2021, I think.
Yeah.
When I literally I was in San Antonio, Texas. I was visiting my sister, and I posted a story on the account about like something about like, if you're a minor, don't interact with me or something. It was something like that. I woke up the next morning, I was logged out of my account, and the account didn't exist anymore. And I was like, what did
Oh
I
my
do?
gosh.
I was like, I told minors to not interact with me. And
I remember that post.
Yeah, I was like, what? Because there was this girl that was like 14, and she was just like, oh my, like she just kept DMing me, and she was like, oh my gosh, like and she was another fan account, and I just felt weird talking to her because I was 21. So I was like, could you please?
Yeah, it's hard on the internet.
Yeah, I was like, could you please?
figuring
I'm so
that out.
sorry. I was like, I'm not trying to be rude, but like I can't talk to you the way that you want me to talk to you. I'm so sorry. Come to find out, my account was banned for impersonation. So obviously I was trying to
What?
be cat.
Rip.
Yeah, but the good news is I made THG prequel in 2019 before the prequel even came out. So I was able to use that, and that's what I've been doing ever since. And yeah, that's my very long-winded explanation.
Wow. Well
Hell
Hell
done.
yeah.
I
But
feel like
I'm
a
gonna-
lot of us have really long stories because like the Hunger Games is our life, right? I mean,
100%. Plus, you forgot the most important detail. We met at the Mockingjay Part 2 premiere, and I did not realize that was you
Yeah,
behind
Brian
this
was the only
account.
person- He's the only person in this chat that I've actually met when I've been friends with Jerry for 10 years now. So that's really
That's
awkward.
so funny.
I had no idea that it was her though, and she was like, "Oh yeah, I that was my old account, and this is my new account." And I was like, "What the heck?" Like, no
I
idea.
had such beef with other people there, not you, but the people that were in front of me. I had so much beef with them. I was like,
Oh, I know exactly who you're
Yes,
talking about.
I was like, I
agree,
literally-
agree.
I was the youngest person there. I was like, ma'am, I'm 15 years old. I'm 5 feet tall. Can I please stand in front of you? Like, you've already met half of the cast members. Leave me alone.
I know exactly who you're talking about. That is its own Hunger Games in itself, that whole discussion. So we shall move on.
I just remember being in the crowds and like screaming for Cass to come over. Oh my
We had to
gosh, wild.
be really respectful when Jen came over, because we were like, guys, she's not gonna come over here for being crazy. And all the older people were like turning around to me and my friends, and they were like, you guys better behave. And I was like,
Oh my God.
I remember
Oh
that. It
God.
was so annoying. But like also like when Jen came over, like we were like, oh hey, and she was like, oh, I gotta go inside, I have to pee, and just like
Yeah.
didn't like she didn't even like
How
touch
Jennifer
us.
Lawrence.
So much fun for that. Oh, people were like, you're making stuff up about her. You're so ungrateful. And I was like, are you kidding me? I have it on video.
What?
And like, and she literally just like left. She was just like, I
Yes.
can't deal with this.
She ignored us. There
And
was
yeah, she
literally, like,
did.
10 of us.
Well, y'all, we're gonna have the best time
Yeah, we
Oh,
will.
this
yes.
year, right?
And we're
I was
going
gonna say I really hope to make it to the ballad premiere, because when all like the original movies were coming out, I didn't know that you could go to movie premieres. So I just never even attempted or looked into it because I just assumed that it wouldn't be possible. And yeah, so that feels like a big silly goose move, you know?
we
Um,
will be sat in line.
But
Oh,
like,
yeah.
granted
LA.
though, the one that was in New York, it wasn't like they didn't have like a fan pin.
Yeah,
it was kind of
wasn't
just
open
like
to the public.
it wasn't open to the
Mm.
public. So like it was like hard to get into. You had to be like invited. It was kind of stupid because like in LA, it's just kind of like open season. You can go and like watch it, which I think is how it should be.
Right. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
how it was in London as well.
See, but that's what I mean. Like I never even like looked into it or tried, you know. I was just like, oh yeah, no, that's only for industry people and only industry people, you know, like no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So I just never even like looked into it.
Yeah.
And I did go to the book signing,
Ooh, fun.
and that was great. I had my mom's permission to skip school for it. Um, it's the nerdiest and most rebellious thing I've done at the same time. But anyway, I mean, so I had that experience, so I'm very grateful for that. But yeah, as far as movie premieres go, I just never even tried. So then, like years later, when I realized, like, oh, you can go. I mean, you can try, or like, you know, there's a little bit more flexibility there than I thought there was, and I was like, well, I feel really silly now. And then they announced Ballad, and I was like, game on. I'm not letting this happen.
It's all
again.
happening.
Yeah. But granted though, you met Suzanne at the book signing. So like
No, I did not. It was I have not met Suzanne. I met Jennifer Lawrence and Josh Hutcherson.
oh, okay. I was about to say because exactly. At least you met Jen.
I have a picture with Suzanne.
Which is like
Yeah,
insane.
I'm really sorry about that, Emily.
No, same. I mean, who would we rather meet? Like Jennifer Lawrence or Suzanne? I think Suzanne for me.
Suzanne.
Suzanne.
Jen and Josh
Sorry,
are
Jen.
with one Suzanne.
Yeah.
I mean, I love them,
Agreed.
but Suzanne is the creator of all. She's
Yeah.
the genius behind all of this.
I just want to sit down with her for like an hour and just like ask her
wanna- I
questions.
I know. I want
I
any
wanna show
interviews
her-
from her.
I want to show her my binder and just let her flip through it. She doesn't have to say anything. I just need to like I just need her to know that I study her world building like it's my job. And she doesn't have to say anything. Like I said, I just need her to know that. And then she can continue on with her life and I'll continue on with mine. I will ask her about Anabaria and that's it.
I hope she's at the Ballad premiere. I mean,
Oh my
she's
God.
gotta be, right?
She has to be.
She's just so
She
like
has to
calm.
be.
Yeah,
I don't
Yeah,
know.
she's such a calm energy. Anytime I will like watch interviews with her on YouTube that are like 10 years old because like she hasn't given an interview in a very long time. But
Mhm.
they're just like so calming. Like she just has such like a positive energy about her. I don't know. Even though she writes like the most upsetting thing you've ever read.
She seems very aloof to me, but like not in a bad way. Just sort of like she's very much, I don't know, to me she strikes me like she just lives at her own pace. She's really unbothered and she
She's-
minds her business, and I respect that.
She's definitely never been on TikTok.
Oh, absolutely.
Which thank God. I kind of don't want to know what her personal beliefs are because I'm a little afraid that they might
I'm like, she doesn't want to be a J.K. Rowling.
no, which I mean, thank God. I mean, because the Hunger Games can be read in a few different ways, and some of the ways that people
Mhm.
read into, I don't agree with, but
But yeah, I like that she leaves it up to everyone's
interpretation.
interpretation. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I don't want her to confirm either way. Like I like
Yeah.
that she's just kind of hands off about it.
That's why
But I
like, I
still-
would want to ask her like world building questions and stuff, but not necessarily like, what are your political views? You know?
Yeah.
I'd still like to hear more thoughts from her on like the movies and the adaptation. because
Same.
We know that she loves them, but like she was involved in some capacity, and I'd love to just hear like anything about that process, really.
Guys, we should just invite her on the podcast. No biggie.
Right?
I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
somebody just contact
It's a great
her.
idea. Yeah.
Why
so
don't
too.
why don't we just text her like right now?
Why don't we?
Texting her right now.
Just
Yeah.
text
If she texts, I don't know.
she probably does it.
Doesn't have
She-
a phone.
She probably
Listen,
has a
she-
landline.
I was just about to say that.
But like in the best way.
Yeah.
No, like in a way that I'm jealous of. Like truly.
Right.
As I've gotten older and more horrible things have happened in my life, I'm like, you know what? I kind of understand people who are like, I just want to live in the woods and not talk to anyone. I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
that seems like the way to go. Live off the land. You have your family. That's it. You know, I get it.
and,
Nice
and
vibes.
your millions of dollars, but
Well, yeah. That
you
helps.
just kind of
That's
you
true.
don't spend it, you just chill with it. I feel like that's kind of her.
Yeah.
She's one of those authors that like it's kind of like people that do like a one-hit wonder like song where but they just like come in, they get their money, then they like just retire.
Yeah.
I get the same vibes from Suzanne because I mean, you know, she makes money from the movies and all of that.
That's also why I like that if she puts out a book, like when she put out Ballad, it's because she had something to say, you know?
Yeah.
It wasn't
Mhm.
just like, oh, let me make this even bigger just for the sake of it. It was, at least to me, it felt very authentic and intentional. And
Yeah.
sure, there was a little bit of fan service in Ballad, but I almost feel like maybe that's the editors or publishers or whatever more so than her.
Yeah.
Because it is a business. I do understand that, you know, but if there
I
is any
agree.
hope of future books, I think it really just has to be like she feels like she has more to say or more comments to make about the way that we're going. Or it could be like a Black Mirror situation where she's like, real life has caught up. I don't need to make another one.
Oof.
You guys know that about Black Mirror?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like, it's like a one of my favorite fun facts, but I also hate it. It's a not so fun fact.
Tiffany, what's your favorite Hunger Games book?
Uh-oh.
Fire, of course.
They've changed my mind. Trust me, I was a Catching Fire stan. They've changed my mind since.
Bonnie, you can be a Catching Fire stan if you want.
But like since I'm rereading it now, like it's not hitting the same. I just don't know how
It
to
doesn't
explain it.
anymore.
It's very long. I didn't realize how drawn out it is.
See,
Like,
I feel like I like the world building that you get in Catching Fire.
I do
so much.
too.
True.
No, I
That-
do too. But it's
And that's
she
like,
just
that's always fun. Sorry,
she
go
just like goes on. She just like kind of goes on, and like there's this like I understand the cuts that they made for the movie, like the Bonnie and Twill situation.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I do
I love
understand.
that.
I mean, I loved them. I was
We're
a
all
little
like,
upset.
forget Bonnie and Twill.
But I mean, like
No.
it's kind of like Madge, like how everybody was really mad that Madge wasn't in the first movie, and it's like she just like talks to Katniss maybe like 5 times, and then like we assume she dies.
Dies.
Like, I mean, it doesn't matter. It's fine. Like we can
Well-
cut that.
No, we can't.
No, I disagree with you, man.
Yeah. I understand cuts for the intention or purposes for making it into a film, but as a book, no.
Oh, no, as
It serves a purpose.
No, it definitely
Yeah,
serves,
it serves
a purpose.
but yeah,
definitely
in
serves
the
a purpose.
movie,
But
cut her
it's
out.
No way, no way. Gabby and I
As
are
long
like,
as
no.
we
Yeah.
explain the
No.
Mockingjay pin in a better way, like I'm
Yeah.
fine with it.
Emily, I agree with you so much here.
No,
We
I'm-
agree
Like
on
I'm
think
with
this.
about everything
Holly.
that has to be cut from Ballad. Like there's so much.
I know there's so much.
I want everything.
Yeah,
Like,
but
that's not
we're
gonna
gonna get a
happen.
lot of deleted scenes on the DVD.
I
still
hope we
You
do.
know what, though?
I hope so.
You know
No,
what?
I don't want deleted scenes. They need to put it all in there. Forget
Oh,
deleted
We're
scenes.
gonna be the only ones
Yeah,
watching
5-hour
it,
movie.
which is fine, but we need this movie to succeed.
That's fair.
That like we're gonna I don't know, I don't trust deleted scenes because an example is the Finnick underwear scene from
Yep.
Mockingjay
Mhm.
that was filmed and was
Yes.
not included as part of the deleted scenes, which gives me heart palpitations because
Yeah,
I
like
think
what are they
all the
gatekeeping
other
that for?
things that were filmed but didn't even
Listen,
make it to a deleted scenes.
as
cut.
long as like listen, if I were to have to sacrifice that scene for the Finnick drinking from the spile,
Oh,
I would
Okay.
sacrifice the Finnick and his
bless,
anniversary.
dude. Oh,
How
I
does
watched
it
it
drink in the
days ago.
spile?
That scene
I-
did
how I
things for me.
feel about
Yes.
By the way, let me clarify the reason why I love this spile is not related to Finnick. Okay, let's not.
Oh, all right.
That's interesting. Why would it
Uh-huh.
not be, you know?
I just
I
like
mean-
the design of it. I'm a designer, which not for me.
I remember being 13 years old, shifting to my seat, watching that, being like, oh,
13. Oh my god.
I was like, hello?
Oh no.
I think I was like 17 when Catching Fire came out.
Oh no. You know what though? I will say this: like, in the first movie, like the Katniss and Clove fight gives me the most anxiety in the world. I hate it, but if you take it out of its context, I was like, "Uh-oh, something else just happened to me." yeah,
Tribute
that's
talk after dark.
Oh my god.
This is a family
happened?
show.
This is a family show.
I know.
So back to ballad. How are those chapters?
They're chaptering.
They're
We got
they're
some
great.
stuff to unpack.
I mean, last week when we tried to talk about the chapters, it was so hard to get through because we were too excited about the teaser.
So
Rip.
sad.
Oof.
So
Rip.
full
And
of
I-
hope.
I still kind of feel that way, but I did read them. Iconic scenes, I guess.
Oh yeah, no, really good with Sejanus and Cora. So who
I mean,
wants to-
Sejanus is just like so stupid, but like I have such a big crush on him. Like, I
Yeah,
just,
for sure.
Ronnie.
He is like, he gives me PETA in a way.
yeah.
No, he gives me unstable PETA.
I mean, PETA do be unstable, but yes,
More so. That's true. That's true.
he's just like
I was
such
about
a
to say, have
lovable-
you read Buffy?
Unstable.
Yeah.
It's just that in the first 3 books of the trilogy, which obviously that's what trilogy means, we don't get a bromance at all, I feel like. So to have a
Mhm.
bromance has been such a different pace because
Mhm.
obviously Gale and PETA hated each other's guts. So, I mean, they also have the same love interest. It's a little different, but yeah, no, I just love their dynamic. I love their friendship, and I love having them in scenes together.
And I
I love
just-
their
I love-
dialogue.
Yeah,
And
good.
I love just the fact that they want to kiss each other.
Amen.
Stop.
Amen.
Those are real.
When
They
I
just
read it
do.
for the first
Conversation.
time, when I read it for the first time, I was like, "Am I the only one that feels this way?" It can't be, because I had never been on like Hunger Games online fandom spaces, so I was like, I don't know, like, is this just me or what?
I mean,
And then-
Snow does talk about having this weird attraction that he can't explain. Like, what is that in there
Yeah.
for?
Something
even
else just happened to him. Period.
No, and like Rachel even agrees with this. I really hope they kind
Yes.
of play that up in the movie, because that would be just. I would. That'd be so exciting.
And also like this is kind of related to this, but in the original trilogy there weren't many like LGBT relationships or like kind of interactions, and I feel like that's so expected from the Hunger Games world and from the Capitol in particular. Like they didn't even go into detail about Finnick. Like obviously Finnick was like, in my opinion, like into some stuff, you know? So I'm excited to see that play in more into this story because we do have like canon LGBT.
Barb.
hmm
So
Barb and Pluribus Bell.
yeah, so to have like kind of this bromance that could be played up a little bit is something that I feel like was missing from the first original books.
Yeah. I mean,
Which
it
like
def-
it makes sense that it wasn't in the original books because it kind of was from the perspective of Katniss and
Yeah, like, it would be.
and like that tension between
That's true.
Gale and PETA helped move the plot forward. However, because of that, it did restrict like different tropes and interactions that could come from character developments. And so this book takes on a totally different angle that the trilogy wasn't able to do just because it was in Katniss' perspective.
Yeah, that's a really good point, especially
Yeah.
since Snow is like in the capital.
Yeah. So this is why this book is such a good addition
Mhm.
to
I
the
agree.
trilogy because it makes it more complete. In my opinion, of course.
No, I.
No,
I,
I
will
know,
say,
no, I know,
think
I know,
every-
I know. Chase, if he's listening,
I was about to say, I think the only person I would disagree is Chase, but he's not here, so.
Overruled.
Yeah. If I can add to that, I also really liked it because it to me reinforces that Panem is classist before it is anything else. It uses
yeah.
classism to oppress its
Yeah.
people before anything else. And the fact that Pluribus Bell is in the capital and Bar Badger is in the districts, you know, it's like, okay, so there is no at least obvious discrimination or bigotry in that regard at this
Right.
point, which is interesting, right? Because you're like, oh, cool, so we've overcome homophobia, but you know, we send kids to kill each other in the games. Great, you know,
Right.
but it's interesting, you know,
Right.
2 steps forward, 1 step back, I guess.
Mhm.
No,
Which-
100%.
I mean, it's
Which-
just it's Suzanne highlighting the thing that she wants to be talked about and she wants
Yes.
to be focused on.
No,
yeah.
And I think she's totally right in that it's expected that within like American society will form more into like a class conscious system, so that we potentially could see something like this happen, to where things that once were marginalized aren't, but now there's a shifting in like who is
Mhm.
marginalized, and it looks like the class system.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
this was-
it goes into the whole like remember who the real enemy is thing, because it's like we could all, you know, it's very easy to divide people and like give all like smaller groups of people reasons to hate each other to keep them busy from, you know, focusing on the real problem, which is, you know, that the elite, the 1% or whatever, are the ones in power and controlling everything, and the ones who are pitting us against each other in the first place, when, you know, it doesn't have to be like that. And if you don't lose sight of that, then, you know, you can really create change.
Right.
That's always what
100%.
I've taken away from it. Yeah.
We haven't even like read the first page, and yet we're having these
Oh
kinds
my
of
God.
conversations. And like honestly, that this is like the stuff that I live for. Like this is such a good
Right.
conversation.
Mhm.
So it goes.
Yeah.
Well, we start with seeing Sejanus in the arena, right? And he's doing
Doing
the
all-
sprinkling the breadcrumbs,
Just being
Mhm.
being a little weirdo and just kind of being
doing his
love
thing.
him, but he's just
Oh,
doing his
awesome.
thing.
Yeah.
It's sweet.
The bromance between them, I think, like promotes choreo some of his funniest lines ever.
Yes.
Oh no,
Yeah.
he starved to death. Somebody get the bread. Like that is hilarious.
He's funny.
He,
I hate
yeah.
him, but
He
he's
is
So
very funny.
I hope that
Yeah.
comes across in the script
Mhm.
Me too.
because he's not really that funny, like in his dialogue, like outwardly that he actually says. It's more internal. So I don't know how
Mhm.
they're gonna do that, but I hope that comes across.
I think it's interesting that like Coriolanus like doesn't think about religion. Like religion isn't like a thing in the capital. It doesn't surprise me necessarily, but like it's weird to have that confirmation for some reason. Because I mean I don't see myself as a religious person necessarily, but like I'm curious to see like what Suzanne was kind of thinking about that, like when she added that.
Yeah, because it doesn't really come up in the trilogy.
No,
At
yeah,
all
they don't
either.
talk about religion at all. Like it's definitely like a standout edition, I think. But like in District 2, it seems like they're a lot. I mean, they have religious beliefs. She understands like what he's doing.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean that's something I'd like to hear Suzanne maybe talk more about. Maybe
I
not. I don't know. I don't
Which-
know.
I don't know.
Which
I
is-
know.
No, I would like to hear her takes on it, because a lot of like you can I think Pew Research Center, they've done some studies and tracking like the religious movement within specifically in the United States, and they're seeing a decline in religion and just the attitudes toward it. And so it makes sense if like this plot is supposed to be set like however many years in the future, and we have these scientists already confirming like the attitude that Americans have towards religion and how it's lining up with the story. So I think she's like pretty spot on in creating some type of dystopian society that, I don't know, could kind of be realistic just a little bit, you know?
Right, because we are the capital.
Right.
Is
Yeah.
the way we're supposed to be reading this. So
Yes. Yeah.
that makes sense. So he gets a call from Dr. Gall.
Which I love the line, "Is the whole city up?" from Graham. That line always gets me.
Snow's pretty much regretting ever even looking at Sejanus.
But a part of him enjoys looking at Sejanus.
True.
It's like, damn it. Got me again.
Family show, family show.
And they're headed off to the arena, he and Mrs. Plinth. I think they're going to the arena, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Snow's like already calculating how he's going to get Sejanus out of this situation, like how he's going to manipulate him.
Which I mean, it's kind of fair. Like, I don't know if you know you're going into it.
a life-threatening situation. I would plan
Yeah.
out everything. I understand that completely.
In a way, he is being a tribute.
Which is like the whole idea for Dr. Gall. But
Mhm.
Yeah.
I
I
love
just
how
think,
they're
like, his-
sending him in with like no weapons or anything either.
Figure
Just
it
like
out.
pepper spray and a
Yeah.
flashlight, right?
It takes a lot to kill a Snow. Don't worry.
Yeah, also, like, can we talk about how self-defense has not progressed past pepper spray? Like,
Yeah.
True.
other things. I don't know, like maybe a taser or something, which is
really strong pepper spray.
yeah, or like
And like a flash thing.
yeah,
like a
I have
really
one of those
controlled
things that you
pepper spray.
pull and it's 40 decibels of sound. Let's get that going, you know? I don't know.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, when I saw
I mean-
pepper spray, I was like, hello.
Which, like, if they're filming this in like the 1950s aesthetic, which is what we've assumed, like, from set pictures and stuff, I can't even imagine pepper spray, like, let alone drones in this world. It just seems very disconnected for me personally. I don't know.
See, to me, I feel like it makes more sense somehow. Like I can
Everything makes
visualize
sense to you, AJ.
I know. Well, but I mean, like I can visualize that, but I can't visualize the freaking arena or Sejanus for some reason. But the drones thing and that kind of more 40s 50s aesthetic for some reason makes like it connects. I can't explain why,
Hmm.
but I can
Well,
see that.
I'm glad it makes sense to someone.
Thank you.
Same.
Yeah.
But I say that and it's like, okay, I can picture the drones and that aesthetic, but I can't picture the arena that happens in. I don't know how that makes sense, but here we are.
We'll just have to see. Let's hope that they show. I just want like one drone shot in the trailer. That's all I want.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I don't know if I'd want to see it in the trailer. I think I'd want to be surprised.
I mean, we're gonna talk about it when we get to that part, but like that whole like the water bottle rabies thing, I'm like, I don't like it. I just don't like that part. I can't imagine that being in the movie at all. I think it's a little bit too comical, but
I mean, I'm sure we'll get a look at the games in some aspect in the trailer, so it could be in there.
or it could be like the first trailer for the first movie where it was just like the countdown and then them running,
Mhm.
which was still very iconic. I mean, I have
Yeah.
to say that trailer is very good.
Yeah, I thought that was great.
We didn't even see the cornucopia until like the movie, basically.
I feel
So
like
which
I'm
part-
jumping ahead. Oh, I mean, I guess he's going into the arena.
Title drop.
and- oh
Which
yeah.
page?
Haha. 230,
Sweet. Okay.
and he
Oh,
needs a token to get, or they realized that Janus got into the arena with a token, which I love that little connection of then the tributes later bringing a token into the arena when they needed a token to get in.
Yeah.
Valid.
Mm. Mhm.
enjoy the show. It has to be in there.
Enjoy the show.
Enjoy the show.
The best part.
The peacekeepers being like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna cover you. We're gonna protect you." Like
They're so funny in this book. They're so like stupid. Like they're,
they're
not
like always
stupid, but, like,
laughing. And
they like don't care. Like, they're so unserious. It's ridiculous.
so he is in the arena and he sees Sejanus and he's like kneeling over Marcus's body. Sejanus is
Doing-
just like very chill.
Also, when he gets into like, have you ever seen a dead body? And it's like, yeah. Like that
He's
part.
kind of like out of it. I feel like he's pretty depressed. Like at this point, he's just like ready to go.
Just
Trauma.
oh, baby, so sweet. I feel so bad for him in this. I mean, he annoys me. He makes some stupid decisions here, but like it's fine.
But I feel like it's so weird because Coriolanus is like just saying everything that he says in order to benefit himself and like get himself out of the situation. But the advice he ends up giving Sejanus is like actually the advice that we all kind of want to tell him, which
Yeah.
is
Why-
true, that like nobody's going to see this, like this act isn't going to mean anything, like you have money, that's power, like you could actually try and figure something out and like figure out a way to help the situation.
Right. Instead of just throwing it all away.
Mm-hmm.
But instead, we later see in the book that he still does essentially throw it all away. But
But
that's
kind of
later. I
cool, like-
digress.
That's kind of like what's cool about Snow's character in this book is like, you know, it's like that meme format where it's like, oh no, the worst person you know said something you agree with or whatever, and you're like, damn it. And it's like that, but that's where, you know, there is a little bit of that gray that comes in, and which to me is still not enough to tip the scales, of course, but you know, it's not, Snow is not a one-sided character, and if he's bad and all sides are bad, some sides are worse. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but there
Mhm.
are parts of him that people can still relate to. And something that was so established in the original series was how similar he and Katniss are, for better or for worse. You know, and that's interesting. Like a lot of, you know, obviously Katniss is, you know, the main character, but she's also a favorite character for a lot of people in the fandom.
Mhm.
So
I like how like this entire scene he doesn't like meet Lucy Gray. I like how they're still separated. Like, I mean, it would be kind of like
Yeah.
a cliche to like have them meet, like, and have like a conversation or something, like Gale and the going to the Capitol and that awful script, like sort of situation. But I'm glad that Suzanne didn't have that happen.
Yeah,
because
I had that
feels
thought
so
while I was
separate.
reading too. I
Yeah.
was like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad, because he talks about Lucy Gray, but he's like, okay, I don't have like time for, like I can't worry about that right now. I'm like, oh my gosh, I wouldn't have liked it if they had
Yeah.
met, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it would have also kind of made her not mysterious anymore. Like she and her not getting so much airtime and like delaying like what is this character doing? It
Mhm.
adds to like who is she? What is she doing? Like how like we don't know anything about her and she's so mysterious. And that's kind of the whole point of this character in the book. And so if they would have had more of a conversation there, you know, it kind of would have just taken that down a little bit more. And plus you could say like, you know, he was kind of cheating, but he also cheats anyway. So I don't know, whatever.
I agree.
Oh, thanks,
Oh.
Chase.
Thanks, Chase.
Wow, that's a thanks,
Welcome,
man.
Chase.
I'm gonna write that one down.
This is actually one of the few scenes I'm actually kind of excited for, I have to say.
Yeah.
It'll be good, I think.
Yeah, I really hope it's good because I'm looking forward to this one, I have to say.
Also because of Bobbin. Bobbin appears at
Mhm.
the end of the chapter, and I'm really excited to see what's his name?
Knox.
Knox. Yeah.
Yeah,
in
that's
that
really the
role.
only reason I want to
He is
see this
such a
scene is for the
slay.
chase.
I can't wait for like all the little children that have been part of the movie that we've been seeing on Instagram. I can't wait to see. I'm gonna be such a proud mom. I'm gonna be like, oh,
I'm gonna be so upset when I see
Right?
them die on screen.
Yeah, but-
Wolfie?
oh, I
Wolfie's
love
gonna kill
Sophia.
me. She's so cute. Oh
I
my
love
god.
them. They're such
Ah.
slays. They're just like, I don't know. It's cool because it's like how Amandla and Willow were, but there's
Mhm.
more of
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, there's so many of them now. They're all so cute. And also they just like, I don't know if it's because we're older, but they just seem so little. Like a lot of them. It just seemed like they're going more like age accurate for this one or something. I don't
Yeah.
know.
I feel that too. I think there's more that are younger.
Which I think is just gonna make it so much more upsetting.
And also this cast is way more diverse, not in just like race and ethnicity, but also just like we have people, I mean, we had people from like England and Australia before, but we have so many more Europeans, like so many more. I mean, like Knox, for example, like he like has like I think it's half arm. And then like Wovi has Down syndrome, or like Sophia has Down syndrome. There's
Mhm.
just like so much more
Yeah.
representation in this movie, which I love so much. So the
Yeah.
fact that we're getting to like see them all interact with each other in the world of the Hunger Games is going to be so different compared to
Yeah.
the original
And
trilogy.
piggybacking off of that, which is I'm with you on that. It's one of my favorite things about this film so far too, is that the characters aren't described that way. It's just sort of like a decision that they made in casting, which is really cool. I think also, it's not, so there's the disability representation, but also like the casting of Hunter Schafer in
Yes. I
in
knew
a
it.
Yeah.
Oh my
in a
gosh.
role that is not specified as being trans or cis. It's sort of like whatever you want, I guess. It's not specified either way, but that she wasn't cast specifically in a trans role, which is really exciting.
Yeah, that's a great point.
And Peter Dinklage, again, High Bottom isn't described in any specific way, really. And it's so funny because when he was one of the characters I had a hard time imagining when I was reading the book. So I was like, I don't really know what I feel like he looks like. And then they announced the Peter Dinklage casting, and I was like, well, duh, that's so obvious. Like,
Yeah.
to me, it just immediately clicked.
Same.
Yeah.
And
Do you think Suzanne did that on purpose because she knew the book was going to get a film adaptation?
Oh, of course you knew. But I don't think maybe, yeah, honestly, that's actually a great point because it was almost an immediate announcement to where they said, oh, here's a new book. Also, Lionsgate already has the rights to the film.
Mhm.
Yeah. She definitely has some sort of deal.
Yeah, and so it would make sense if when she was writing and at the process of editing, like she could think in the future now and like, okay, for casting, let's just go ahead and set it up in this book to where it can be more inclusive.
Yeah, I read that. That's something that I really want. I hope that is discussed either during the promotional period of the films or as like a bonus feature or something where, how like the first movie had all those behind the scenes bonus features that were like, oh, here's how we did some of the props and here's how we did this. I want to know like what that casting process was like and how they make decisions, because I'm thrilled with it, but I was absolutely not expecting it at all.
Same.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's so cool. And I hope that when, the trailer comes out and character posters come out and all of that, that's something that really gets talked about in pop culture, just because I feel like the disability representation is so rare. And it's so rare that it's like, that's not the plot of whatever movie or TV show that they're talking about, and don't get me wrong, like there's a place for that for sure. But this is cool that it's just, these are just kids with disabilities and, this sucks, I guess, to be in a games on top of that, but just that the characters weren't written that way specifically in the books. They weren't not written that way, so they actually didn't change anything. That was their interpretation.
Yeah.
And I think that's just really great. That gets me juiced. Just like everything else does, but this gets me
like what doesn't?
I know, but this is like S tier AJ being
Oh,
agreed.
S tier. Okay.
S
This
tier
is
AJ.
S tier.
All right.
this is like
Inclusive
flashbacks.
casting.
Yeah.
this is like the Spile. No, I'm kidding. This is higher than the Spile. I'm joking. Yeah, it's up there.
And like the actors themselves, like some of them are like non-binary. It's like it's a good mix. I mean, this is definitely different than the first, I mean, at least the original movies casting.
Oh my gosh. Wait, also, if we're talking about representation, I'm giving a shout out to Mackenzie who follows me. So
Yes.
shout out Queen. But talk about representation. We're both queer French American redheads who claim District 4. So
Oh my
Yo,
goodness.
what's up,
What's
Mackenzie?
happening?
I feel incredibly seen.
Let's go, Mackenzie. Shout out Mackenzie.
Shout out
Yeah,
Mackenzie.
so also, like the cast in general is just so interactive with the fandom, and I
And
love
from
it.
New
It's
York.
so
Oh
cool.
my god, I forgot that
Yeah.
too.
And also like even Rachel, I mean, Rachel's so,
Mhm.
she's a fan like through and
She-
through.
Oh my gosh, her and then Ashley, yes.
Yeah.
I love
Oh,
Ashley. I love her so
Yes.
much.
Yeah.
I DM'd Mackenzie and I was like, hey, this is probably gonna be super weird. Feel free to ignore, but I just had to point out how many similarities that I'm noticing right now and how much I appreciate that, and I'm just so excited. And she responded, she was like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. Like I love that for you pretty much. And
Oh
then
my
she followed
gosh.
me back. So she watches my story sometimes. and
Yes, same.
she
I'm like,
That's awesome.
Who
She put
wouldn't?
it on one of my
Oh.
polls one time, which also was very sweet. And
exactly.
yeah. So
Why don't we
shout out-
have her on the podcast?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, get on
Somebody
here.
ask. Like,
Honestly,
this is
yeah,
like
why
the
can't
most
we just ask
obvious
these
thing.
people? Why
Just
don't we just
ask.
call Taylor up?
And then literally, why
Yeah.
don't we just call Suzanne up? I mean,
All right, I'm on it.
I feel like we'll just have to wait for the movie to come out because I feel like there's not really a whole lot they could tell us at this point, you know?
I mean,
But
it doesn't
We
hurt
can just
in
confirm
asking
their
though.
placement. Yeah. we'll
Maybe
just
for
Yeah.
the press
wait for the future.
junket, you know, they can just do a round on tribute talk.
Ooh.
yo.
Which some
It
podcasts
would be
do for
literal
like.
tribute talk.
Oh my
Oh my
god.
god.
Ooh.
I can't.
Okay. I'll work my connections. I know Knox watches like all of my stories.
Yes.
He's another that I would love to speak with. I won't want to speak to all of them, right? But like I'm just saying. Little Luna.
I love her.
Me
Oh.
too. They're all
I
so
saw her in
precious.
like ad on Pinterest randomly, and I thought it was like I thought I was getting it in my Pinterest feed from like Hunger Games stuff, but it was like an actual like ad, and I was like, oh my gosh, Luna. And yeah, I pinned the ad. So back to ballad.
Are we in chapter 16?
Why did I put my book down?
Yeah, so I'm in chapter 16.
Coriolanus is fighting.
And then the other tributes show up. Coral, Bison, and Tanner, and Bobbin. There's like a lot of fighting and running going on. I don't know.
I mean, like honestly, he deserves it. It's fine. I was not afraid in this. I was like, okay, like if they kill him, they kill him. It's fine. But it's not realistic, unfortunately.
I mean, I was pretty anxious reading this, but
I just can't stand him. I just really
like
want
the
to
book
punch
could
him in the
end here.
face. Yeah, and I'd be so fine with it. It would just be like, whatever, it's fine.
I mean, I knew something bad was gonna happen, but I was like, how bad is this gonna get? Like how bad in
I'm-
the sense of like good storytelling, not like bad like wow, this sucks. But
Right.
like
I mean,
like a-
honestly, when this part happened, like when Sejanus was in the arena, it shocked me. Like it was a kind of, I
Yeah.
did not see that coming at all.
I didn't know how I felt about it at first. I was like, what? It felt very Gale on the train to the Capitol,
Yes.
Afterwards, I was
Yes.
like, what are we doing?
but it makes
But
so much sense with
it makes
Dr. Gall,
sense.
like
Absolutely.
why it was forced.
Absolutely.
And it's, I mean, as much as I think this is a stupid decision on Sejanus's part, it's very in character for him.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, he is a bit impulsive and goes after what his heart thinks is like justice oriented. So,
Yeah.
you know,
Sweet angel, bless his heart.
he tries
He-
his best.
He
Ronnie.
tries his
He tries
best.
his
He doesn't.
best.
He doesn't know any better. It's fine.
Oh my god.
Janus gets so he gets a real bless his heart, and he also gets a southern bless his heart.
Yes, he gets the
Yeah,
southern blessed. heart,
100%. 100%. And then Coriolanus just like kills a guy. Oh, wait, no, is that towards the end?
Just like low
No,
key.
yeah, he does. He just beats Bobbin to death.
Oh
It's
my
horrible.
It's
That
terrible.
I'm not looking forward
Thanks, Sejanus. Honestly.
Yeah,
That's gonna be
geez,
such a
Yeah,
scene.
Like,
it's kind of
Sejanus can
his
stay
fault.
innocent, but
right.
Corio has
yeah,
to get him out of there.
right.
But like
Mm. That's a good point, Emily.
at the same time, he was pressured to go into the arena.
What?
It's not because of It's not because of Sejanus. He didn't go in there because of him. He came in there because like Dr. Gall basically forced him to.
Yeah, but if Sejanus didn't go in there, I mean, maybe Dr.
If
Gall would have
Sejanus
found
didn't go in
another
there,
way.
Oh, if Sejanus didn't go in there in the first place, he
Whoa.
would not.
But
happen.
Why?
also
It's
no,
Such
no,
a
no,
turning
no, no,
point. It's a huge
No.
turning point for Snow.
No, I don't agree with this because I think that like Dr. Gall, like she would have been okay with him just like getting killed in there. And I think that the fact that she was like, oh, let's put Coriolanus in here as like a test. So that's like why she did it.
Well, I think she took a bad situation and turned it into a
Made it
test.
worse.
It
Made it
made
Yeah,
it
she
better.
definitely made it worse. But
Yeah.
she could have just let Sejanus get killed and like it would have been glossed over.
No, it would have been glossed over.
I think some of what she was saying that she didn't want Sejanus to be seen in
Mhm.
the arena was valid.
Yes,
like-
I agree.
I agree. But I don't know. I think that she could have come up with something to like cover it up or something. I mean, I think ultimately she put Coriolanus in there intentionally, like she knew that what she was doing,
Mhm.
at least in my opinion. She
Yeah.
just wanted to traumatize him because she's crazy.
Yeah, because I mean, like, do you think she would have found a way to get him in there without Sejanus?
No, I don't think Coriolanus would have went. I don't think that he would have gone
Mm-mm. Yeah,
if
I don't.
if Gallic made him.
I mean,
He would just-
unless she made a weird twist where all the mentors had to do something in the arena.
Yeah,
But
oh my
That's been
god, could
crazy.
you imagine that would have
Honestly, I could
like
see that happening.
that would
I
be
like
very
that.
interesting.
Waiting to happen, Gabby. Get to it. Start writing it.
I was
Okay,
gonna say,
okay.
we need that fanfic right now.
Yeah, because the love connection between Lucy Gray, although it's not strong enough yet for Corio to run in there. Like he wouldn't have done that. So it would have had to calm down to like some type of command that all of them go in. But it would have to be where she can almost guarantee there would be no deaths of capital children, because that was the whole point of trying to get Sejanus out there in the first place, is that it would look bad if a capital kid was dead in the arena.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She could figure something out.
Mm.
crazy scene.
Sorry. Yep.
I'm
Can't
so
wait to
excited.
see it in the movie.
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty great.
As terrible as it is.
It's pretty terrible. But
I mean, they barely make it out.
yeah,
And then on bottom of page 239, the peacekeeper says, "Just following orders. Don't blame us if God thinks you're expendable, boy."
What?
it's very like President Coin of her.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, she
Also-
gives President Coin.
Just following orders to me is a
Yes.
phrase that is so loaded.
Yes, it is. It's
With
Yeah.
huge.
historical
It is
significance.
so, yeah, it's so intentional that it's in this book.
Mhm.
Yeah, I love it. I hate it, but I love it. As with everything in this damn book.
And then they go to the lab.
Which, what do you think they gave Choreo instead of not the Morphling, but it was something else?
Advil.
maybe ibuprofen, but I'm feeling more
Ah,
Advil on this.
Some Coca-Cola.
Maybe some
I'm like-
elite, a ginger ale, some chamomile tea,
Some water and crackers, saltine
Do you
crackers.
do you
salty
you-
crack.
do you think in this, like on page 241, when he's describing like his mind felt a heightened sharpness, like do you think in this moment there's something actually to it, or he's just being a false narrator and he's just kind of paranoid?
I just think he's being annoying.
Could be like adrenaline or something. I guess you just had like a really intense, like possibly near death experience. Maybe you are like a little bit tweaked out from it, you know? I feel like that would be understandable.
Mm-hmm.
It reminds me a little bit of the end of the book when he gets
Mhm.
bitten and like, I don't know, he thinks it's venomous and just starts being a little bit paranoid.
Am I going to die?
Everyone, audiobook plug.
I want the soundbite of that. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but I asked that because Choreo, he just, I can't tell what is just from his paranoia and what is like a real thing here, you know.
It's a good question. I never really questioned that until now. So thanks, Gabby.
Oh, you're welcome, AJ. That was just for you.
Shucks.
We get a bit of Dr. Gall's backstory and how she was a doctor of obstetrics,
Mhm.
Oh, yeah, that was
working
too
with
much of a-
babies.
Wow,
that was too big
the
for me.
irony. Jeez.
Very
so much-
disturbing.
There's so much there.
A lot to unpack.
I like that she's just like straight up, yeah, I couldn't do that. So much to unpack, right?
Yeah. Okay, let's see.
It's just like the fact that she's so upfront about everything. Like,
Hmm.
except for like the whole, I mean, we'll get to it, like the peacekeeper thing, because that was honestly, I didn't see that coming. Even though it was
Right.
like kind of obvious, but like looking back at it, but like I did not see that coming. But like this, I would, it's kind of crazy how upfront she is about everything.
Yeah, looking
otherwise.
at this conversation, it seems so obvious. Like
Mhm.
that what happens later is just all Dr. Gall. But she just basically says that it's like a teaching moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this on page 243, her little dialogue of explaining, like stripping down, like what does it mean to be human? What is humanity? And from there, what does it mean to govern humans? This is an example of one of the quotes that's earlier in the book, like on the first page of the book, of Thomas Hobbes. And so this would be like a Thomas Hobbes perspective of humanity.
Mhm.
And like, so this is where, I mean, like deep, like philosophy comes into this of like shaping a character's perspective. And she's trying to, and it looks like right now, because the Hunger Games is kind of like whether, like, it's up to debate whether or not it's going to continue. Like, she's trying to get everyone else on board with her view of humanity. So she starts with Choreo. And you see she's using little teaching moments to get him to get where she's at, to understand humans in the way that she does, through like crazy, ridiculous experiences to like shock him, you know. But she knows that if she can get him to do that, because he's already kind of like a psychopath, that will yield in huge results of like him later being a game maker, him being influential on how the Hunger Games continue later on. So like she's kind of investing in a good stock, honestly. Like if she wants her viewpoint to win over, let's say, like Dean Highbottom or something, like she's this is a good strategy.
While also
That's just-
being unhinged because she didn't care if he just like died in the arena. Like
Yeah.
There's that
with a
too.
little touch of chaos in there.
Of course.
But also, that's a lot to put on an 18-year-old. I don't even like, I was so stupid when I was 18. Like,
Mhm.
putting me through any similar situation to this, like, I would be freaking out. I don't know. I would not be able to function.
Well,
But if
yeah,
it
but
works-
like, but also this choreo, like these characters, they went through war. Like this is a situation like they're so different than the modern 18-year-old today. Like this is very different.
That's very
They grew up-
true.
they grew up way faster, and like his parents are dead. Like there's a lot here to it.
Mhm.
Which is why, even though I don't 100% believe those online leaks about the press screening, I really hope the beginning of the movie is the young Choreo and Tigress scene. Because I think it's so, like, I'm glad that they shot it because I think it's so important to like their characters
Yeah.
to show like why they think the way that they do and all of that.
Yeah.
It's so interesting that he's so offended that Dr. Gall took away his choice to go into the arena. Like in that situation, at the top of 244, he's saying she had forced him to kill for the sake of her lesson, something that significant should have been his decision, not hers. But like he doesn't recognize that that's exactly what they're doing to all of the tributes.
Mhm.
Hmm.
I mean, he
Yeah.
still thinks of himself as like a superior, quote unquote, superior breed
Right.
Hmm.
above everybody else. And like,
and then as a
he-
victim too.
yeah. I mean, he just thinks that he's better than everybody else. I mean, Lucy Gray is like a stretch for him, and even he like questions it if like a few times as to like why he likes her, even though she's from the districts or whatever. And he justifies it being like, well, she's not really from the districts. Like, it's obnoxious.
Yeah.
I can't stand him.
Hmm. But it also, like, because he gets so offended, it tells like his like he has this obsession with control, and whenever he doesn't have a choice, whenever he doesn't have options and control to have options, then that like he freaks out. So that is a really interesting point, Emily.
Get that man in therapy.
Yeah, where's all the shit?
Yeah.
I think that if you go to the Hunger Games, you should automatically have a therapist.
At the
Like-
very least, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's, well, I mean, they don't care, so never mind. But like that
It's
would be actually, yeah, they don't care about victors at all. So what am I even talking about?
No, but even like I guess in this for Ballad in that context, like it's like, oh no, our poor capital children were exposed to something in a very dire situation. Like you would think there would be a little bit more coddling there, but there's like none. They're like, eh.
This sounds like a
you guys.
TikTok to me or something, you know, like a tribute talking to their therapist after they get
Oh my
raped or
God.
something.
Oh my god.
Ooh.
Somebody
need
get
to-
somebody
we
do
need-
this right now.
We need Octopus 88, the guy who does all the TikToks where it's like the Statue of Liberty finding out that blah blah blah. Like he's the guy who
Oh.
does those TikToks. We need him
Right.
if you guys are into the lore.
I love that he goes home and he sees Tigress and she's wearing the coat, like to cope. And he's like, surely it's not so bad that you need the coat. And like he's literally sniffing the compact. Like, come on.
He's stimming, you guys. It's okay.
No, he's a character. He's definitely a character.
You're not wrong. He is a character in the book.
That too.
Okay.
So another point that is not necessarily the only part of this chapter. This is obviously in other parts of the book as well, but there's just so much more of a focus since this is mainly about somebody from the Capitol. Capitol news, kind of just the world of Panem in general, outside of what we know about District 12 and the games from the original trilogy. But I'm really excited to see how their society operates from the inside. And I mean, we've already seen like the logo for Capitol News through some of the behind the scenes photos. So it'll be really fun for me to see that as like a big fan of like a backstory, I guess.
Yeah, it adds to the world building. It's like I love stuff like that as well. I'm very excited.
So we're back with the mentors. I love that he yells that he was in a bike accident.
Yeah.
His face is messed up.
And Sejanus, for some reason, because they're in love, I think, has the same exact excuse.
I love
Oh
that.
my gosh.
Very comedic.
It's their connection. There's something between them.
I can feel it.
I'm just imagining them biking around the Capitol together, you
I
know?
know. But
Hey,
like
yeah.
on one of those tandem bicycles, like the the 2-seater ones.
My
I mean,
God.
you know, that's what everybody else is going to be thinking, right? Because
Like,
they're both in a biking accident. Hello.
I mean, I'm sure the entire academy ships them as well. So and then we get the prize, the plinth prize.
Which I feel like is probably, if it's included in the movie, I think that's going to be something from the start. That
Yeah.
the plinth prize exists, and like that's why he needs to win. I don't know,
Yeah.
I feel like it'd give him more motivation from the beginning.
No, I agree. Should be a script writer. That's actually really good. I hadn't thought about that before. Sorry for the silence. I'm like rereading. I read it like earlier
That's
today.
what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Also,
It's like
this is
arena
a,
stuff is happening.
I know.
This
And
is
like
a- sorry.
no, go ahead. No, Tiffany, go ahead, please.
So this is another observation that I didn't make until recently, and maybe this is something that I've missed just because I haven't read the original trilogy since 2020, but in the Capitol, that's basically, or just like the richer districts in general, that's really the only place that they have 3 generations. Because I mean, there's some older people in District 12, but for the most part, I mean, we don't hear about like grandparents as much as we do in this book.
Justice for Ripper.
Ripper. That's a really interesting
Yeah, that's,
observation.
No, I agree.
yeah.
I mean,
that's
they're
really
like worked
good.
to death, basically.
Yeah, and like the whole life
Mhm.
expectancy and starvation and everything like that plays into it.
Mm-hmm.
And also the war.
Yeah, that
Or
Yeah.
not
Oh,
through,
yes.
through generations, but like they talked about how they almost like went extinct before fighting each other, but maybe not the 3 generations, but still population wise, that's still a good point though.
What a weird way to justify like the Hunger Games.
Mm, yeah.
To keep the population up. Okay.
Yeah.
Very like Handmaid's Tale-y.
That's probably going on too. I don't know.
These games are just like not as I mean, they're exciting, but they're not as exciting. Like,
I mean, I guess that's the point, right?
it is, but like they're definitely like my least favorite parts of the book. I'm gonna be honest.
Same. Other than Sejanus and Snow in the arena. Yeah.
Yeah, I would keep that, but like everything else, I'm just like, it's hard to imagine. I'm
It's
curious
just
to
like
see how they do
miserable.
it.
They're all in there, hiding and then hacking away at each other, like when they're not in hiding. I don't know.
It's definitely a lot more brutal.
They're getting sick, like they don't have
Mhm.
food.
Yeah, it's not nearly as entertaining as in the trilogy.
Which
It's
I mean,
like
Suzanne
just like they
definitely made that point.
Yeah, it makes all the sense.
it makes sense.
yeah.
But I'm curious to see because like it's in all the movies, at least, like there's always been like the big action set piece, even if it wasn't like Mockingjay Part 1 and 2, there's always like a big action scene, and this movie has like some of it. I'm just like curious to see how they're gonna like, because there's really not a whole lot of action in this movie other than the arena scenes and like I guess the end, but I can't imagine it. I can't imagine any of it, honestly.
Well, that's why you gotta watch the movie, Ronnie.
I know. Just give us a trailer. I feel like I'll have a better idea when the trailer comes out.
I feel like that's kind of how it is for me for any type of action scenes. Like it's just hard to picture.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, Mockingjay, I could not even imagine that.
Not that
at all.
more falling away.
I wish they would have kept. I liked that scene, honestly. The more I've read it, I'm like, okay, I
Mhm.
vibe with this.
Like the street folding in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And then the creatures at the bottom.
oh yeah, and the pit. It's so disturbing. It's great. I love it.
The meat grinder.
That was.
Yeah, I'm good.
I mean, who knows? Maybe HBO Max will like pick up a Hunger Games adaptation.
I would hate
Oh.
that.
No, I want that so desperately. I want like a 8-episode season, like per book of the series. I think it'd be so good with like no
No,
restraints.
I think like the series format is fine. I just don't want the extreme violence and whatnot, even if the books are that way. This is a whole thing. I will die on this hill.
Yeah.
But that was my gripe with Squid Game. I feel like, and the fact that like Squid Game became the
That
most
was
popular Netflix
gratuitous.
show at the time it came out, I was like, do y'all not see the irony of this? Like, this is what I don't want. Like, it's just, I don't know. And I feel like Suzanne would not want that.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, because the story she's telling is different. It's the whole point is that we're watching deaths happen for entertainment.
Exactly.
Which is why I hate to side with Chase here, but I think the first movie did like the cornucopia scene. I think was really good. I mean, it was
I
still
really
like
You.
so.
Oh, get out. Ugh.
It's very effective. I think it's horrifying. I mean,
Yeah.
when I first saw it, when I was like 16 when it came out, I didn't understand it really. I didn't get it, but since I've rewatched it like a million times, I mean, it's
Yeah, it
really
is
impactful in a
horrifying.
way,
Yeah.
in like
I
the
do-
way that the other movies aren't.
Yeah. I love that sequence because I feel like the cinematography choices they made there were incredible, and it really conveys what you need to know for the sake of the story without exploiting it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's that perfect balance. Like that's as far as I wanted to go. And honestly, like there are other scenes that I have a hard time watching, like the District 11 execution and Catching Fire, like really upsets me. And same thing, you saw just enough to understand what
Oh my
happened to
gosh,
that
yeah,
man.
exactly. I
Yeah.
But you need to like see it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say it all together. Ross
No,
is
no,
boss.
no, you can't. No,
Ross
ban. You're
is
banned.
boss.
You abandoned us, remember?
We're kicking you out of the chat.
I bet Nina made him quit.
We
He's
love
jealous of his
Nina.
fame.
Nina's our favorite.
We
Yeah.
standing in this house.
You love
I love
Nina.
her so much.
She's good people.
It's a
Well,
ballad.
is that all we had on the last chapter?
What happens on the last page? We get the rabies. We get the rabies.
Love that.
So exciting.
Crazy plot twist. I was not expecting rabies.
Just a little PSA. A guy died from rabies the other day. So please, if you think you got
Oh
bit
my
by an
God.
animal, go get a rabies
Oh
shot.
my
My
god.
gosh.
Once you
That's
start
the thing.
having
Live
symptoms, you die.
in the
There
wilderness.
is no cure after the symptoms start. Like you will die. So
Oh.
I mean, we'll get into
Be
it
careful.
next week. We'll get into it next week, but like the whole like hydrophobia, I thought was fake, and
Yeah,
I like
didn't know
Googled
anything
it.
about that.
I
Yeah.
Googled it, and it's
Rabies
real, and I'm like,
awareness.
what?
Rabies awareness.
Stop.
Meredith Palmer.
Where's
fun
Michael
run for the
Scott?
We had a
cure.
fun run.
It's the craziest thing. Like, what a plot
As a-
twist! Rabies.
As a
All of
tangent,
my information came from Jenna Fisher and Angela Kinsley.
Yes.
Whatever her
Yes.
name.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, definitely
As a-
bring that info for next week.
as a
Oh,
fun
that was
fact,
that was all the
when-
info.
when Rainn Wilson interviewed Billie Eilish because she's such a big Office fan, one of the questions, because he asked her questions like trivia questions that were in increasing order of difficulty, and one of the harder questions was, what is the full name of the rabies like fundraiser name?
Yes,
And
there's a title
She
for
got
it.
it like mostly right. She missed like one word, but there's like 15 words in it.
He's aware of rabies. We need to all be aware.
Race for the cure.
Well,
Right.
join
Oh,
us.
am.
Join us next week when we talk about rabies or potentially a trailer. Who knows?
One or the
One
other.
or the other.
One or the other.
Hopefully.
Either way, it's going to be an interesting conversation. So
I'm
It always
waiting-
is.
I'm
always.
waiting to see what this writing is. Be aware.
Uh-oh.
Okay, we're getting there. I
The
think I know
chamber
where this is
that's
going.
been
I thought
opened.
that this was Chase, but it's Gabby.
No plot twist.
Also chaotic.
Be aware of rabies.
This is
Thank
just
you.
like
Brought to you
the
by Trivia
capital
Block.
sign that we saw, you know?
Oh,
we
we
saw
Yeah.
pictures.
This
Oh, I
is
hope we
propaganda. You're
We
welcome.
got to get some rabies in the movie, or else I'm going to be upset.
It's Michael Scott's Thunder Mifflin Scranton Meredith Palmer Memorial Celebrity Rabies Awareness Fun Run Pro-Am Race for
Yeah.
the cure.
Secure.
Exactly.
And did you
Alright.
see
Oh,
for April Fools, the Empire State Building lit up? I think it was green, and they said that it was for. I'm not going to repeat all those words because I cannot remember all of them. But for that organization from The Office,
Oh,
the
that's so
charity.
funny.
Somebody's crazy noise.
It's very funny.
I love The Office.
So good.
For the cure.
Office Hunger Games?
That's my favorite part.
Well, I guess join us for next week to learn more about rabies.
Or a trailer.
For
One or
rabbis.
the other.
We'll have a presentation.
And thank you for Tiffany for joining us tonight too.
Thank you
Shout
for-
out.
Yes.
Shout out.
Yeah.
Hello,
Love-
Follow
Tiffany.
Tiffany.
Yeah, follow T Street prequel. She,
I followed that.
thank you.
You're
Tiffany,
welcome.
come for more.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Please.
Yeah, come every week.
I'm trying to get my life together, so I will be coming.
Also,
Trust me.
announcement, Survivor is on every Wednesday now. And you may want to tune in. It's very similar to the Hunger Games. Thank you for that.
Hashtag Survivor Talk.
Hashtag White Rice Wednesday.
But yeah, Stephanie, once you start, you can't stop. I joined in one day for just thought it was going to be my first time and only time, and now I'm trapped.
Well,
So,
I was telling you, I am trying to be more active in the fandom
Yes.
before. It's just hard when you work a corporate job and are trying to have a life, I guess.
That explains it. I don't have one.
I feel that so
I
much.
used to do yoga every Thursday night, and now I don't. So this will be great.
This is mental yoga.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
Stretch
better
your
than
brain.
yoga.
Better than
Welcome.
therapy,
Yeah.
honestly.
This whole time I've been sitting on my couch, eating M&Ms with a Truly fruit punch.
Well done. Well
Honestly, the
done.
best way to spend an evening.
Yeah.
I have a Capri Sun next to me. So
Oh, I love
that
Capri.
wins.
They need to make them bigger.
yes, they do. Yeah.
I agree.
I need like an adult portion of Capri Sun.
Yeah. There's a
Which
bar
reminds
in
me,
Austin.
when I had to evacuate for a hurricane one time when I was still living in Savannah, we just like picked up like some random stuff from a gas station on the way, like driving into Atlanta. And I decided to buy a gallon, like one of those big ass bottles of Gatorade. And
no.
I drank it to myself, and my friends took a picture of me holding this giant, like just drinking straight out of this giant gallon of Gatorade. And I don't think I've ever been as happy as I was in that moment. But
What-
now
what
that we're
color
talking
was it?
about-
Yeah, what
was-
was
it was either Cool Blue or Glacier Freeze, but those are the only two
Oh.
ones that.
the blue
Oh my
drink?
gosh.
Blue drink.
Stop.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
Guys.
Plot twist: they're just drinking Gatorade, and
That's what I imagine.
yeah.
They
But
sponsor them.
anyway, talking about Capri Sun, I need a gallon of Capri Sun. That sounds lit.
Yeah, there's a bar in Austin that fills Capri Suns with, I think, vodka or tequila or something, and they
Uh-oh.
just reseal it.
Oh my
That makes
god.
my
me
God.
physically nauseous. But
Yeah,
I would
that's
try
disgusting.
it.
I haven't had them, but when I heard about that, I was like, oh my gosh, yes.
No.
Big no.
I'd try it, but
Respect
it would
the
be so
hustle, but it's
sick.
not for me.
So on that note,
On that
please
note,
drink-
yeah, that's what I was
please
gonna
drink-
say.
Please drink
Drink your-
responsibly.
Yes.
Drink your blue drinks responsibly, and
And your red
Drink
dye
Gatorade
40s.
for the electrolytes.
yes. And we'll talk about rabies next week.
Everyone stay safe out there.
Good night.
Woo!